Alyssa Orange is here with us. Alyssa, we missed you last week, but you were doing some hosting of your own on in Little Rock. How'd that go?
It was fun. I was no Phil Elson, but I had some fun with DJ Williams doing some stuff on the buzz while Justin Acree was gone. So my first taste of hosting a radio show, and I got to hand it to you guys. It's quite different, and a lot is different than being just like a 20-minute guest on the show with you guys once a week, but I had a blast doing it, and I understand now why you guys have so much fun on these radio shows.
She was nervous. I was texting her, last week, just seeing how's it going. And she says, "I'll see if I can do this." But you're, come on. Is there anybody out there who's ever had a moment to talk with Alyssa Orange thinks she can't host a radio show? Alyssa, you can host a radio show standing on your head with your mouth taped. Well, not with your mouth taped closed. You got to be able to speak. Yeah, you'd be able to. Otherwise, you're like made for it. So
you just talk.
Yeah.
That's all you do.
DJ made it a whole lot easy. Yeah, just talk, which I have no trouble doing, and that goes all the way back to first grade, second grade, third grade when my report card said talk too much in class. So.
Talks too much in class. Yeah, but you have to be the ringmaster for the circus. 3 rings. Yeah, things are going on all the time. Yeah, I hosted.
Were you guys gonna just throw Clay Henry on me?
You didn't know I was here?
Clay.
He'd usually be here tomorrow, but he's driving to New Orleans tomorrow, so he's with us today instead.
I'm going to play in a golf tournament. Yeah, it's good to hear your voice, Alyssa. And
you too.
Yeah, I would have bet that you got marks in school for talking too much. I would just bet
100%. Yes, 100%. Every time. It got to the point where my parents were just like, that's, we get it.
We're worried if you're not talking too much.
Right, then something was wrong. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, man. Hey, big weekend of bat and ball sports coming up here. Bigger weekend for softball. Really big for baseball. I feel like one win is going to get you in the top 8, and so often we're focusing on the idea. Well, they've lost whatever it is, 4 or 5 series. I think it is. The committee's not. I don't think the committee's looking at series. They're looking at wins. They're looking at an overall body of work. I don't think they're looking at how you finish the season either. So yeah, Arkansas has lost 4 out of 5 series. They've won a game in every one of those series, and they've also swept a team in Vanderbilt that's fighting for a national seed. And the sweeps also do count in the standings. So I think we overlooked the series aspect of it a little too much. With that said, Alyssa, you're playing a team in Tennessee that's got the kind of quality that you'll face in a super regional. So you want to feel like you can win that series.
You do, and I think you're absolutely right, Phil, when you look at how Arkansas has played those series and, outside of Game 2 against LSU, the series that they lost were close and competitive for the most part, and that's what the committee is going to look at as well, especially in a league with the teams that Arkansas played who are playing as well as they are in the SEC. You look at Tennessee and what they're coming off with their series loss to Vanderbilt. You just want to finish strong, right? I know everyone made a big deal about rankings and where Arkansas is after they beat Texas and then, after they lost to LSU in Baton Rouge, but rankings don't really matter at the moment. You just need to go play baseball and win this final regular season game and head into the SEC tournament. And I know we've talked about this before and how I feel about the SEC tournament and how much I don't think it really matters for teams like Arkansas what they do in those tournaments for their postseason spot. It's really how they finish this regular season. And I think Dave understands that. I also think, too, like you mentioned, Tennessee is a quality opponent that you're likely going to see either in a regional or specifically in a super regional. So can you play them well at home and win the series and take some momentum with you into the postseason in this final week? And I think that they can. I think what we've seen from this Arkansas team, even though we've seen ups and downs, is a team that is got all the pieces when they're clicking at the right time and they're clicking together to not only be one of the best teams in college baseball, but to make a postseason run to Omaha like we've seen in the past. We just need to see it this weekend to feel good about what we can expect in the postseason.
Yeah, so you mentioned now what the SEC tournament means, right? If we ever needed an example of the meaninglessness of an SEC tournament, softball canceled the championship game did not try to reschedule it for the next day. As my understanding when it comes to softball pitchers, it's not even close to the same idea as overtaxing an arm like you can in baseball. So I don't know if that was a factor. You know, it was two teams that may end up facing each other for a national championship, but that came off just so odd. I wonder what you thought.
Yeah, it did, because the way that the statement read, and again, it's just the statement, so tone and all of those things are up to the interpretation of the reader. It was, well, we are going to have to postpone this, and because of weather, there's no chance of rescheduling, so congratulations, OU and Texas, you're co-SEC champs. Welcome to the league. And it's just like, wait, what? Like, you can't play this game on Sunday. It's not like these games take 5 hours. You could play this game in 2 and still be done by the time things are ready for the selection show on Sunday. That's what baseball does in the SEC tournament. They play, and same with basketball. They play on that Sunday, and then they find out their postseason fate at the end of the day. Like, you're telling me you can play on Sunday? And especially with pitchers, you see these pitchers, they could pitch 3 days in a row if they need to. Their pitch counts can be up in the, for a 3-day stretch, they could pitch 300 pitches and be just fine. It just felt a little bit like an afterthought, and I know that there's been some discussion. I know people around the state have talked about, would they have done this with baseball? Would they have done this with basketball? No, I don't think that they would have. Well, and maybe it was in a consideration of, well, we know that OU and Texas are going to host anyways. It doesn't matter, but it just felt like it was too quick of a trigger to pull so early on Saturday with the SEC championship game in softball.
Well, it's still softball's got their best chance. Is this? Do you think this is Courtney's best team? This isn't the first time they've had a Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Sure. What do you make of the draw? Because it's one round at a time, obviously. So, if you advance, you're facing probably an Arizona team that's knocked you out once. But the draw was kind of tough for this regional in and of itself.
Yeah, I think this team has a really good argument to be Courtney Deifel's best team. I think we thought that with, that might have been 2019 or 2022. Time is so weird, and it's when they lost to Texas in that super regional. That team we also thought was a World Series championship kind of team, and this team might be better than that. But this team is just complete from the bats to a person like Bree Ellis. I think Robin Herron is really solid in the circle. I wish they had a stronger number 2 arm behind Robin, but she has shown and proven that she can be the pitcher for them in the circle, and they need her to be. And they've got the defense. And I think that this is, with the road that they're on right now, with this regional, though it's tough, you draw Oklahoma State and Indiana here into town, and then you're matched up, and you host in Arizona if Arizona gets out of their own regional. This is the best draw for the Razorbacks, not having to go back on the road until they potentially get to Oklahoma City. I think that the way things line up for them, it's best case scenario. And for Courtney Deifel, yes, this is the best team, top to bottom. I think you could look back and say there were better players on other teams, but top to bottom, this is the strongest team that she's had since she got here.
Well, Alyssa, when you just look at what they've done on the road against these top seeds, they've played really well, and they've taken Oklahoma to the limit. I mean, I don't think anybody in the SEC is scared of Oklahoma right now. And they're been the dominant team, but they've taken their lumps. So it's like, okay, they put their shoes on the same way we do, and we got a chance.
They're human, and I think that's finally what some of these teams are starting to realize. And I think that one sport that has probably benefited the most from the transfer portal and from the growth of it itself is college softball, because you don't have just OU is great, but you don't have that powerhouse where it's OU and everyone else. Texas has built itself into a solid program. Florida continues to be good and better every year. Florida State is there as well. You've got UCLA, Arkansas, teams like that in the SEC, Alabama, Ole Miss. Those teams are starting to even out the playing field a little bit in college softball. So, yeah, OU is scary. They're always going to be good. They're just so well coached, and what Patty Gasso has been able to do over there is incredible. But I think you're right. I don't think anyone steps on the field against them anymore and just automatically feels like they're going to lose and they don't have a chance. And it's why the SEC was so competitive as it was this year, was because you have teams that are right there around the same level that OU carries and can win and can beat them on any given day.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing and we're into the NBA and NHL playoffs, and BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering information. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. Bet online, the game starts here.